What's up, duelists? As a lot of you guys probably know, and a lot of you guys are probably preparing for, Konami announced a multi-format 3v3 major event at YCS Las Vegas in a couple of weeks. A lot of you guys are probably preparing for that, and you probably clicked on this video as a way to prepare for said tournament. I made a video talking about my thoughts on this event. You can check it out after this one. But if you guys want to play in some major events like this one, make sure and check out the RBET stuff. Links in the description. You already know what it is. Let's get into the video. Today's video is about the 5 types of players you'll see at the Ultimate Time Wizard side event and the decks that they'll be bringing. You know, the archetypes, you know, the personalities, the fucking people who go to these tournaments. All right, you know what? You know who I'm talking about, and I know you know who I'm talking about. And the first person is the goddamn nostalgic duelist, the guy who was like back in my day, the guy who still, you know, he tries to stack his deck, but he's so old and decrepit that you like hear his like fingers crackling while he tries to do it, and you're like, not this time, Grandpa, and you call a judge and you get him DQ'd. But you know what? That's okay. It's okay. It's a little bit endearing when an old man does it, you know? And these are the duelists that they view the format as though there's only one deck in the format. And for GOAT format, that's got to be GOAT Control. They're bringing the deck that they had probably built in 2005. It's still in that same Blue Eyes White Dragon tin that they carried it in those Ultra Pro gold sleeves, or those sleeves with the dragon eye on the back, you know, the ones. And this is the deck that they're playing. Not that this deck is bad, it's just a little bit outdated. It's going to be the GOAT format deck that I expect a lot of people to have lying around their house, because when everyone hyped up GOAT format in like 2018 or something, this is the one they built in all commons. Everybody who was scrambling to find a GOAT player was able to find someone who has this exact deck, and there's going to be a team, the nostalgia team, the boomer team, that has the GOAT control player on the team, basically. Yeah, stereotypical deck, looks to control the game, scapegoat and metamorphosis, sack the token, get 1,000 eyes, easy clap, keep resetting your 1,000 eyes with Tsukiyomi. If your opponent plays a good monster, steal it, literally, just take it off of your opponent. Don't give it back to them after the match is over either. I'm sure if you take a first edition BLS, it's going to be worth whatever, you know, legal restraining order you get from being thrown out of the event subsequently. I'm just kidding. I don't condone that type of stuff. That is clearly a joke. Don't take your opponent's full, ultra rare tournament pack morphing jar from their field and never give it back. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't condone that. Sure, it may be the cost of a couple of motor vehicles. You could buy a Tesla with a morphing jar, but you know what? I'm just saying, don't do that shit, all right? Don't fuck around with that shit. That's whack. All right. The Edison nostalgic player, myself included, Quick Draw Dandy Warrior. They read an article about Jeff Jones in 2010, and they think they know Edison better than literally anyone else. They pull up with this exact deck list, and they're like, I'm going to summon some Dandy tokens. Now, this player, I have played against this exact player, actually, in a side event, and they are so angry. For some reason, they're the angriest person you've ever met. They're just mad. They're mad at everything. They're mad at the state of the game today. They're mad at the state of Edison today. They're mad at GOAT format. They hate Tengu format. I've played against this guy. They just hate everybody, themselves included. They probably live a very miserable life. But that being said, they have the prettiest deck you've ever seen. Ultimate Dandies, Ultimate Debris, Ultimate Kaiases. You're just like, bro, if you hate life so much, why just sell your deck and go take a trip to the Himalayas? You know what I mean? Go fucking travel the world. Meet some fucking bitches, man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. I'm just joking. But yeah, no, seriously. You're going to face this player. You're going to face the player where it's like, okay, they had a GOAT guy and a Tengu guy. They needed an Edison guy. Well, I guess Jim played Edison in 2010. Maybe he's still got his deck, and he's going to pull up with this. This is Quick Draw Dandelion. It's basically the GOAT control. Well, it's not really the GOAT control of Edison format, but it summons tokens. So there's that. No, it's a synchro combo deck. It's a good card synchro combo deck. Plays Morphing Jar as well, but it's a little bit more difficult to permanently take control of this card with Snatch Steal. So, you know, I mean, a little bit difficult to jack from your opponent. No, I'm just kidding. I am just joking. There needs to be a big-ass disclaimer on the screen, but I sure as hell am not editing it in. Yeah, gorgeous deck. Really fun deck to play. Actually, you know what? GOAT Control, also really fun deck to play. So if you guys are considering going to the event, these are some decks that I would load up. Shit, man. I'm just trying to have a good time. This is like It's like half boomer, half like hyper nostalgic focused seether. But it's also like just the people who are there to vibe and have a good time and play a retro format. Maybe this is not their primary format. Maybe Edison or Goat or whatever isn't their primary format. And same thing with the next deck, Tengu Plant Synchro. Maybe this isn't their primary format, but they're thinking, you know what? Maybe I want to play Tengu Plant because that's the name of the format. Not really the best deck in the format, not really the most powerful deck in the format, but definitely a fun deck. Definitely a really fun deck, and it leads to some fun mirrors. I think this is one of the more fun mirrors in this format. And it's definitely one of the least like cheesy unfair decks in the format. It can do some unfair stuff, like opening 1-for-1 Dandy Tengu is like crazy, but I mean the chances of that happening are pretty low. So overall pretty fun and synchro combo style deck, similar to the last two. I mean, obviously there wasn't synchros in GOAT format, but there was Metamorphosis, which is about as close to a synchro as you're gonna get in GOAT format. So these are all like the similar like entry level synchro combo. We're just old men, all right? That you take them out of the retirement home for a round or two, they're gonna drop after they lose to fucking Gravekeepers or Blackwings or whatever, and then you wheel them back in. You put them on the van with the levitating ramp that like gets them in the van, and you're like, all right, buddy, see you at the next YCS, grandpa. And then we move on to the next team, and the next team is the Cheesers. This is the team of people who actually just want nobody to have fun, themselves included. They just want to win at the cost of everybody's good time. Actually, you know what? I would go as far to say is these people don't want to win as much as they want to ruin someone else's day. These are the type of people who get satisfaction out of your pain. They want to watch you suffer. They want to watch you have a bad time. They want to ruin somebody's bracket, ruin their own bracket, and inevitably scrub out. Alright, let's get into it. GOAT format, it's reasoning gate. Nobody in their right fucking mind enjoys playing this. It is so goddamn boring. You just activate reasoning and hope your opponent calls the wrong number, and you hit DMOC somehow. That's like literally it. I don't understand what drives someone to enjoy this deck. I just copied it from the GOAT format website. Shout out goatformat.com. Legends over there. But yeah, I just fucking copied this list because I'm sure motherfucking Cheese Boy is going to be doing the same thing. He's going to be looking it up. He's going to type in cheesiest GOAT format deck, and this is the first thing that pops up, and he's like, all right, I'm going to copy the most recent list. And that's exactly what I copied here. I don't even know how this deck works beyond resolve big guy and then summon other big guy and then OTK. I mean, I like that. I'm just assuming that's it. Like you defusion demonic loop. I'm assuming there's some sort of sacred crane nonsense. I don't know, man. I don't know. Why is there no spell canceller? I feel like spell canceller is something that a cheeser would always consider, because a cheeser always overestimates the amount of cheesers that are going to be at the tournament. They're going to be thinking, oh man, everybody's a cheeser. I'm a cheeser, so everybody must be a cheeser. So I feel like he should have spell canceller somewhere in here, but what do I know? Anyway, this is the ultimate GOAT format cheese deck next to library, but I didn't even want to flash that on the screen. This is like the stomachable one. This one you might feel nausea, like you might feel some sort of repulsive sensation, but you won't be like actually needing to go to the hospital. If I showed you guys the library FTK deck, that may or may not have been the case. The Edison cheese deck similarly is Norlaris, Skyscourge Norlaris. This is the nice hand, bro, but he's saying it to both you and himself deck. It's a hand loop deck. Once again, I just copied the most recent topping list from RBET Orlando. This is Pizza's top 8 deck list. It's a cool deck. It looks cool. The cards look sick. Ultimate Rare, Skyscourge Norlaris. Secret Rare, the Dark Creator. These cards look sick, and don't get me wrong, like, the Reasoning Gate cards, Dark Magician of Chaos is in my top 10 favorite cards. It is one of the sickest cards of all time. It, like, really embodies Yu-Gi-Oh! The way they have all these unnecessary straps and belts, and, like, what's up with the circle in the background? I don't understand it. Anyway, the cards look sick, but when you're playing against them, you're like, why am I here? Why am I playing this fucking game? Like, you actually feel a sensation of frustration that I don't think you can really feel in the real world, that level of frustration. It definitely isn't good for your blood pressure to play against Norlaris. And I would say just, have your DD Crows ready, have your Kaiku the Ghost Destroyers ready, because there will be cheesers. Let it be known, there will be cheesers. And then, of course, the classic Tengu Plant cheeser Infernity. Nobody likes this deck. If you like this deck, nobody likes this deck. This deck was good for way too long. And by good, I mean just like so miserable to play against. It's like, did I draw Max C? No. All right, I guess I fucking lose. I guess they just set up triple barrier, double break, whatever the fuck board they build, and you're just like, man, why am I here? And then sometimes they just grind you out of the game, and it's miserable because all of your shit is getting negated, but you're still stuck there because they're hitting you to death with a Summoner Monk or some shit like that. I don't fucking know. Yeah, no, this deck is miserable. The way it works is it discards its hand, and then it goes +5. I don't know. That doesn't really make sense, obviously, but that's just the way the cards work. It has powerful synchros. It has powerful sideboard options, particularly Leeching the Light and Soul Taker, as ways to deal with Thunder King Ryo, which absolutely cucks this deck. If you guys are looking to not get cheesed, just make sure you have your Thunder King Ryos ready, and make sure you have ways to defend Dat Boy, a lot of hand traps, and you won't get cheesed by Infernity. This is probably one of the, actually, unlike Norlaris and Reasoning Gate, I would say Infernity is probably one of the best decks in Tengu Plant format. So if you know how to play this deck, and I'm sure my list is not even perfect by any means. I'm sure Summoner Monk is like a mid-choice, or there's some fucking Tengu cheese, like mono cheese Tengu player in the comments typing up like 15 pages. There's this one guy in the Discord, I swear to God, there's this one guy in the Discord who plays Tengu Plant Infernity. You know who you are. You know who you are, and you always be typing paragraphs. I know, you know exactly who you are, and you're always like writing like a fucking novel, and I'm just like, bro, I cannot read all that shit about Tengu Plant Infernity. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anybody, like, I'm happy for you that you have a creative outlet and that you're expressing yourself in, in a beautiful way, and it's not going into something like writing an alt-right manifesto. Like, that's awesome that you're writing this insane, like, fucking life story about Tengu Plant Infernity in a Discord server somewhere. But at the same time, like, ain't nobody reading all that shit, all right? But that guy, he's going to be at YCS Vegas because he's been living for this tournament. That's the guy who's like, oh my gosh, now's my time. And so make sure you have your DD Crows, your Maxis, your fucking Thunder King Ryos. Make sure you're prepared for this bullshit-ass deck. All right, next category of players. You know, you got the Boomers, classic. They'll be there. Probably not as many as you'd think, but they'll be there. You got the Cheesers, probably more than you'd think because obviously, you know, some of these people don't play these formats full time, and they're just looking for free wins, so they'll definitely be there. And then the next group of people are the cool guys. These are the guys who are about the culture. These are the guys who are like pushing meta games. These are the guys who are like, I'm gonna top with something new. These are the Carpaths, you know what I mean? These are the fucking Lil Man Yu-Gi-Ohs, you know what I'm saying? These are the guys who are out here. I would say, oh my gosh, I'm gonna fucking forget. I think it's JDZ, the GOAT format guy, the guy who runs the GOAT. These are the people who are out here pushing the culture, and they're playing the dopest shit you've ever seen. They're playing a deck where there's like 16 people crowded around, and you're like, oh yeah, I'd play that deck. You're looking at the deck, and you're like, yeah, I'd 3 limit removals at 3. Oh shit, yeah, no, that sounds tight. Oh wait, you can bait Scapegoat with Trunade and then OTK with the Surpriest Big Bang Shot. Yeah, no, sign me the fuck up. Let's go. None of that Metamorphosis Thousand Eyes bullshit. Let's get some crazy combo action going. This is GOAT format machines. This is the peak cool guy deck. This is a deck I've wanted to build in paper forever. I have some of the cards for it, but I don't own X head cannons, and I can't be fucked to spend money on them. Let's be real. But this deck is a blast. I love playing this deck. It is just, you know what? It's not the most consistent deck. Let's be real. It's no Chaos Turbo. It's not the most powerful deck. It's not Chaos Control. It's not the most cheese deck. It's not Reasoning Gate or Empty Jar or whatever. But by God, this deck is fun. It is so fun to resolve multiple limiter removals in the same turn. Or just like limiter removal, Big Bang Shot, kill you over a GOAT token, something like that. Just a really sick deck. Some cards that are kind of hype. Reflect Bounder, really sick card. This card is a machine, which is cool. You can deal some damage with a limiter, and then they try to attack back over it. They lose the game. That's pretty hype. Lightning Vortex finds a home here. And you know how you know this deck is a cool guy deck? It doesn't main deck Delinquent Duo. That's how you know it's a cool guy deck. It just says, fuck your hand, bro. You know what? You can play the game too. We can both play the game, but I'm going to activate 6 limiter removals, and somehow I'm going to deal 8,000 damage one way or another. This deck is based. Peak cool guy deck. You get to play all the sweet cards. Jinzo, my favorite card of all time, is in this deck, as well as, Triple Dekoichi Tsukiyomi, one of the most fun cards in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. All right, next, peak cool guy deck, Amaryllis Burn. This deck is so goddamn fun. I swear to God, every time I load up this deck, I'm just like, man, I wish Amaryllis was not $70. Like, oh my gosh, I would play this deck so much if it wasn't so fucking expensive. It is worth so much money. It's so much. Konami, please. Please, reprint. I don't even care. Give it a fucking premium gold reprint. I don't even care. Give me something gross, something disgusting. Give me like one of those early platinum rares or something just miserably awful to look at. I don't even care. Just make it cheap so I can play this deck. God damn, this deck is sweet. The way it works is you Lone Fire into Titanial, and then for the rest of the game, you have a Titanial. Because it doesn't go away. You have Hidden Armory to search for Mark of the Rose, Tutorable Snatch Steel. Mark of the Rose can banish that Titanial, and then you can bring it back with DDR. Either that or, I don't know, you get another one somehow. I don't know. That's how the deck works. Debris Dragon can clear the field if things go wrong, or can summon you the powerful Stardust Dragon. You got Lightsworn monsters, some of the most powerful cards of the time. And then you've got all your graveyard synergies and Dat Boy Gores. The deck is just fun. It's just sweet. Summoning Big Titanial is kind of like Appaloosa. I don't know. What's a fun card in Modern? Not Light and Darkness Dragon. That's not a Modern Yu-Gi-Oh card. I'd say Appaloosa. Titanial's kind of like Appaloosa, I'd say. Or it's kind of like the Herald. I don't know. That's not very fun. That doesn't sound very fun when I'm pitching it that way, but it's fun. Trust me. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bro. Puts on sunglasses. Trust me, bro. This deck is a cool guy deck. It's a cool guy deck because it also shows that you have a lot of money. You can flex your net worth. Now that you're 30 years old or older, you can show off your shiny new super rare Phoenixian Cluster Amaryllis that you probably could have afforded easier on your lunch money as a kid. But you know what? Hey, here it is. Here it is nowadays. Sideboard, straightforward. Strategy, straightforward. Just bring back your Amaryllis till your opponent's at 0. The classic Amaryllis Burn. It's a classic now, even though it was invented like last year by Carpath or some shit. I don't fucking know. And then, of course, if you're playing Tengu Plant, there's only one cool guy deck in Tengu Plant. You could argue that there's two, but honestly, this is the only one, and it's Scraps. This is the coolest deck of all time because the monsters just look sweet. Is it a fun deck to play? Not really. I'm going to be honest. It's pretty boring. It plays kind of like, I'd say, like Glads in Edison format. It's kind of shitty. You have one summon per turn. You just kind of hope it works. And you don't really have anything unfair going on. But if you do resolve Scrap Twin Dragon, it is one of the prettiest cards ever printed. One of the nicest looking ultimate rares. And you can really only summon it in post-board games when you go Cyber Dragon and Scrap Beast. But hey, here we are. I think there's some arguments to main decking Cyber Dragons because this deck does get eviscerated by Thunder King Ryo. It is a really tough time dealing with Thunder King Ryo. It's actually kind of weird, but everything good in Tengu format is really, really annoyed by a turn 1 Thunder King Ryo. So as long as you have it, you'll be fine. But that being said, this deck can kind of play into it nicely because you can go like Scrap Chimera, bring back the Beast, Synchro into Scrap Dragon. Even if this boy is negated, it just says if this card in your possession is destroyed by an opponent's card. In your possession can mean in the weird nebulous zone between the extra deck and the field where it can still be negated. So, yeah, his effect will trigger and you will be able to bring back either Chimera or Beast and you'll be able to go plus into Thunder King. So that's kind of cool. But Thunder King does shut off your scrapyards and your dualities and it runs over your entire cast. So it is pretty fucking annoying to deal with. Can't lie. Sideboard, you do get to play the King himself and it's just a cool guy deck. It's just a cool guy deck because the scraps look sweet. They're like, kind of steampunk. They're kind of cyberpunk, future-esque. Just cool-looking cards. They look like something out of It Takes Two, the video game. They look like a monster that you built out of your vacuum cleaner. If you're like one of those types of people who likes to take shit apart. I was a kid who liked to take shit apart. Every time we had like a technology thing that broke at home, I would be like, I can fix it. Like as a kid, just fucking lying. And I would like unscrew that bitch and I'd like pull out the motherboard and I'd be like, you know what? There was nothing I could have done. There was nothing I could have done. And they'd just look at me and they'd be like, Keegan, you fucking idiot. Anyway, these are the cool guy decks. scraps, amaryllis burn, and machines in GOAT format. I feel like if you're a certified cool guy, these are some decks you'd bring to the tournament. There may not be a full cool guy team, but I can pretty much guarantee that there will be at least one cool guy on some of the teams. It is rare to see a full cool guy team that doesn't really always come together. But the next one I'm going to bring up, it's probably going to be the most common team. It's going to be the team you see the most of. And I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know how I feel about this. But it's the tryhard team. It's the, like, dude who's wearing a hoodie. His expression looks exactly like this guy's. He's not there to have fun. He's not there to have fun. He's there to win his, like, marginal $1,000 giant card, immediately sell it, take nothing from the event, other than maybe get like a YouTube video out of it, and then leave and talk to no one and just like pretend he is superior to you. This is the peak Spike team. This is the peak tryhard Seether team. And inevitably these guys maybe will collect the top 8 here and there, but they will be the least fun people to talk to at the event. The first of many of these decks I gotta pull up is Chaos Control in GOAT format. I have fun playing this deck, but boy, is it boring as shit. I personally have the type of brain rot it takes to enjoy this type of deck. And I could have put Chaos Turbo in this. They're functionally the same. The only difference is like you cut like a Scapegoat and a Metamorphosis, and you cut like the Kaikus, and you add like a couple more fucking Gravekeeper Spies or something. It's like, okay, bro. Like, yeah, it's slightly different. All right, you got me. You know what I mean? But yeah, Chaos Control, this is a list that did well at a tournament. I don't fucking know when. I think it's Dale Bolito's list. I don't even know. But you can tell that this guy in this hoodie, he's like, yeah, I copied Dale Bolito's list, but I made it better. And him, quote-unquote, making it better is like cutting a Smashing Ground from the sideboard for like the third Book of Moon. And he's like, I feel like the third Book of Moon just comes up in these matchups more. And he's talking about his sideboard things like it's the fucking cure to cancer. Like he really did something. Bro, you just copied Dale Bolito's list. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna be that level of tryharding on this team. And you can tell. You can tell. The second you sit down across from this person, and I've been this person, that's how I know. That's how I know. Am I gonna be this person in the future? I don't know. Maybe I would like to be more like the cool guy, but deep down, am I the tryhard? Who knows? It really causes you to self-reflect when you sit across from someone like this. The next deck, of course, is Chaos Blackwings. You already know all 3 players on this team are playing some fucking variation of Chaos, because that's just like, that's the Yu-Gi-Oh! Historic try-hard deck, is Chaos. It's just like, okay, well, Chaos Sorcerer's broken, so what deck can play it? And they just play the best cards that can support it. This is a first-place list from the first Edison Major in, like, 2021. I think it was Chris Harate. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your last name right, Chris, but this is your list. Cool list. It's a cool list, don't get me wrong, but it slowly and surely became the most try-hard shit you could play in Edison format. At the time, it was hype. At the time, it was sick. I can't lie. At the time when this came out, it was sick, but everyone started copying it and playing variations of it, to the point where it was just kind of like, all right. It was kind of like, all right. Another Blackwing opponent, all right. Let me just throw in my Consecrateds, you know what I mean? Make sure you are prepared for Blackwings. I do think it will be the most represented deck at the side event, by far. I also do think that the Chaos Turbo and Chaos Control are going to be the most represented decks at the side event, by far. So just make sure you have a sideboard for it. Make sure you have your, whatever, Trap Hole for Blackwings, or your Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer for Chaos, or whatever the fuck it is that they side for Chaos. I don't know how sideboarding works in GOAT format. I think it's like, you side Mind Control for flip effect decks, and you just try to cheese their flip effect by mind controlling it. I think you side Decree because it's good against Warriors. I don't know, man. Just make sure you have a sideboard for it. If you play GOAT format, you know what to side versus those decks. You've been playing the format for the last 35 years. You're going to know what to sideboard. You don't need me telling you, all right? But yeah, against Blackwings, just make sure you have a side for it. Something to parry the aggression. This deck likes to attack a lot, so keep that in mind. It's also pretty normal summon reliant. This version actually isn't that normal summon reliant. It's got the double Cyber Dragon and the Chaos Sorcerer, as well as the Vayu as ways to extend. So it's got like 6 or 7 ways to extend, which is a fair bit more than your average Blackwing deck, which makes it a little bit cooler, but simultaneously, you know, let's be real. But yeah, this is a sweet version of the deck. If you're maybe looking for an interesting, exciting way to play Blackwings, this list actually did very well. I think he won the tournament undefeated. So That's pretty hype. Sideboard, straightforward. Extra deck, straightforward. And then, of course, the most try-hard Tengu Plant deck is fucking Agents. Nobody likes this deck. Nobody likes this. I don't like this deck. I love Arcelor Christia. It's like one of my favorite cards of all time, and I hate this deck. Why? Because this deck is so fucking boring. You literally just summon Venus. You do the same thing every game. You summon Venus, you make Gachi, and you just hope it is okay. You hope that is good enough to win. And guess what? 99% of the time, it is. 99% of the time, that just wins. Most decks cannot beat that. For some fucking reason, that just beats every deck. And the late game of just 65 fucking insane boss monsters and then being able to play 11 fucking hand traps, it's like, bro, what? Why am I even playing this game? Why am I even playing this game? You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you got a Herald for that? All right, you got Maxi. Oh, okay, you got a Veiler for my next. Okay, I guess my turn ends. Maybe I get an attack in. Oh, you drop Trag too? Okay, no worries. No, I didn't want to play this game. You know what I mean? This deck is miserable to play against. It's just the best cards in the format and Arcelor Christia, which, oh my god, dude, I hate playing against Christia. Like I said, one of my favorite cards of all time, but boy, do I hate it. Miserable try-hard deck. Probably the best deck in Tengu format. It's up there. I don't know. It might not be. It might not be the best deck currently. I can tell you for sure a lot of people will be playing it, though. A lot of people I've talked to are like, yeah, Agents. It's the deck for me. And I don't blame them. It's very simple. You just summon the agent, and then you shout out the agency, and then that's it, and then you win. And that's how the deck wins. It just does that. The sideboard, you get to play all the best cards. You even get to play this garbage to stop leeching the light, which I guess is a counter card. I don't fucking know how this deck works. You got fucking... I've never seen this card in my life. You know, I hate this deck. I hate it. I hate it with burning passion. I think these cards are boring. They all do the same thing functionally. They just make an Xyz, and then you're like, I have an Xyz. And then when your opponent outs your Xyz, you're like, all right, I have a Christia. And then the game ends. And that's it. That's all you need. Unfortunately, though, all of these decks, all three of them, lose to the last team I have for you guys here. The tryhard is, dude, he's already typing up his DGZ post, including maximum slurs, describing the last team I have here. And he is furious that he lost to them in top 8. But they do have an insanely good matchup against all of this try-hard chaos bullshit. And the last team I have for you guys is the fucking Weasleys, alright? Now, what deck would the Weasleys play? Well, first off, they're all playing the same deck. They're all playing the same exact deck. And they're playing it across all formats. And it's the peak Weasley deck. Across all of time, this has been the Weasley deck of all time. And it's Gravekeepers. It's Gravekeepers in Goat, it's Gravekeepers in Edison, and it's Gravekeepers in Tengu Plant. They're playing Gravekeepers in every format. They're trying to shut off the Chaos Monsters. They're trying to shut off the Graveyard. They're trying to shut off the Muggles. You know what I mean? They hate... Well, actually, you know what? They're tolerant. They're tolerant of the Muggles. It's like a soft floodgate, Necro Valley. They'll let them normal summon. But deep down, these guys, you know what? They may be broke as shit, but at least they're not Muggles. You know what I mean? There's a class divide there still, you know? They may be broke, but, you know what? At least they're not Muggles. All right. But the decks, Gravekeepers in Goat format, it's an aggro deck. That's it. It attacks. You solemn people, you Rite of Spirit back your monsters. You actually get to play the one limited deck dev in Goat format, which is really cool. This card is actually really strong in Goat format. It's not as strong as it could be, but it does some work. I'm not going to lie. It does put in some work. You get to side some really powerful cards too, like Skill Drain and Morbius. It's just a fun deck. It's not that powerful, but he's pretty much hoping that his other two teammates will carry. And they likely will, because I don't think people really come as prepared as they should for stuff like Gravekeepers. This is Gravekeepers in Edison format. This is one of the most try-hard lists I could find. This list has triple Royal Tribute, triple Upstart to find it, all the best trap cards, all the best sideboard cards, even citing a cool Spell Shield Type 8. This is a cool tech card. It can protect your set monsters from knock, it can protect your face-up monsters from things like enemy controller, brain control from frogs, and it can protect your back row from Heavy Storm, while pitching maybe superfluous copies of Necro Valley or dead copies of Royal Tribute later in the game. So actually a really strong card in the sideboard of this. It's not something that I had considered before, but yeah, this is a really solid Edison format list of Gravekeepers. Plays very similarly to the fucking GOAT format version of Gravekeeper. They are the same cards. There's very little difference. The only difference is, oh, we got Descendant. 5 years later, you get one new card. And guess what? Another 2 years later, you got one new card, and it's Gravekeeper's Recruiter. And that's it. I mean, it's still the same deck, but now you got Duality to find Royal Tribute even more consistently. On top of that, you get to play Mind Crush on top of Dust Shoot with Duality. So you just more consistently see the hand rip cards, which make it horribly unfun to play. You got Solemn Warning on top of all that. It's just a miserable experience for everyone involved. And then if you want to make it even more miserable, you get a side in some of the fucking dude. You get the idea. You get the idea, folks. You get the idea. Gravekeepers in Tengu plant format. Oh man, it is cringe. This is honestly the reason I think the format is like bad. I mean, it's one of the reasons, but it's definitely one of the big reasons. But there's definitely going to be Team Gravekeepers, and they're all going to be wearing the same fucking homemade sweater. You know, they're probably, you know, all kids of parents that were related before they were married. And you know what? They're all playing Gravekeepers. And that's it. And they're going to pull up, and they're going to win the event. And you're going to be like, how the fuck? How did this happen? And, like, the tryhards are going to be, they're going to be, like, seething in the corner. Just, like, veins popping out in their forehead. The cool guy's going to be like, well, I guess that's not that cool, though, man. They'll be, like, still judging, but, like, in a cool way, you know? The cheesers will be, like, just happy that they fucking ruined somebody's day. And then the boomers have died of a heart attack at this point. Anyway, let me know if you guys like this type of video. If you found it helpful for your preparation of the 3v3 at the upcoming YCS Las Vegas. And let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. And let me know if you have 16 paragraphs about infernities that you want to type in my comment section, because I would love to hear about it. Smash like, subscribe. Peace out.